I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. And if any of you are watching and wondering, why does Roxy look so mad right now? She has every reason to be. I caused a major screw up. First off, let me introduce what the show is, and then I'll tell you the major screw up. So, uh, today, today is our 200th episode. Yay!
Woo!
200 episodes. The VCR show has been at it for 3 years. It reached this amazing milestone of 200 episodes. And we had a really great show for you that uh, you were going to get, but you weren't going to get it because it failed to record.
No, somebody forgot to make sure that it was recording.
Somebody forgot to press record. So you should have heard that phone call when I had to call Roxy and explain we have to do the show over again. And she was like, "What?"
I was like, you are kidding me.
No, no, I wish I had tried this new procedure to try to like invite her over to the show because we're always on at different times. We're never on at the right time. So, but with doing that, I forgot to set it to record. And yeah,
And it was a good one.
it was, it was.
It was really good.
So happy 200th again.
And there won't be a 201. No.
No, no, no. There will not. There will. So there technically, so when you look, depending on the platform, you'll see that it shows 201 episodes. This being the 201st. This is not exactly accurate. This is actually 200. So there was a announcement that went out some time ago where me and Roxy couldn't do the show, and so we
Mhm.
had to do a little service announcement saying tune in next time type of thing, but it counts it as a show even though it wasn't. So what can you say, what can you do? But this is episode 200. Yay! So 200 episodes, 3 years that translates to us doing this, and so many fun things to kind of talk about. But we're gonna do this a little differently. I'm gonna do the stuff that we did last first, if not the last time we talked about it. Roxy, one of the greatest milestones that I think is just incredible, and it blows my mind every time I see it, are all the wonderful people who tune into us. Like all our
Mhm.
audience, like it
Yeah.
blows my mind to think that there are people across the planet
Yeah, across the world.
that
Listen to
just
us.
listen to our show. One of the ones that I'm always happy about, because they've been one of the first nations to always tune in, was Germany. So all those years ago when we started the show, Germany was one of the first nations to tune in to the VCR
Mhm.
show. And so when I click on it now and I see all these cities in Germany that listen to us, it's like, wow, that is so amazing.
It
But
is.
here's the other thing, little factoids for you. Um, we have 64 different nations that listen to us. 64. Germany, Canada, Greece, Italy, Ireland, uh, Singapore, like we have all
Ugh,
these nations 64 of them.
all places I want to visit.
Yes, I mean all wonderful, beautiful places, and they tune in to our nutty little show. And I'm sure they're like, you know, I don't know why I listened to this.
Like, what is wrong with these two?
Like these two, their life is so bad it makes our lives look good. So,
Right.
that kind of
Maybe
situation.
I'm not so crazy.
Maybe my life isn't so bad after all. know? So it's one of those things where it's just like such a delight to see these people kind of tune into us.
Yeah.
And in of course in Texas alone, oddly enough, with the same amount, with same numbers, we have 64 different cities in Texas that listen to us as well, which is pretty awesome. in the United States, we have 44 different states that tune into us. So we're just, 6 states away from completing the whole map of
Whole
the
nation.
US. And
Yeah.
it's always so awesome to see that. And like one of the things that I love to look at, matter of fact, I'm gonna look at it right now. And I'm gonna give you our oh wow. We've had a little change here. So the majority of our listeners are in the United States, right? But globally, Germany, Canada, India, and United Kingdom, and here's a shocker, Poland
Oh,
are
Poland.
in our
Hmm.
are in our top ranking ones, along with Australia and the Netherlands. And honestly, let me count how many this is. It's kind of weird. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 8, 9. Coming in at number 9, Brazil.
Oh,
And would you like to know who number 10 is?
who is?
Sweden.
Oh,
Sweden.
Sweden.
And at 11, it is Ireland. So just to kind of give you a little flavoring of what's happening out there, the last nation to tune into us, let me go down here, Algeria. Actually, so last 3 nations, the Netherlands, Iraq, and Algeria,
Hmm.
of tuning
Interesting.
into us. I was like,
Nice.
wow, how fascinating
That
is
is.
that? And then just kind of breaking it down a little further, just kind of funness here. Let me click on the United States. So some our top states to tune into us, of course, Texas coming in with the highest, Virginia coming in second place, Washington. State
Woo.
of Washington coming in at third. Number 4, New Jersey.
Hmm.
Number 5, California. California. I forget who sings that song. So the Californication over here comes in. And then right under that is Ohio. And under Ohio, New York. New York is, tuning in.
Nice, nice, nice.
So, and the last state to tune into us, Indiana. Indiana
Hmm.
is our last state. Now this is one thing that always tickles me, like our male, female listeners, the analytics and all that stuff. So right now, males listen to the show at 53%, 46% female.
Nice.
And then our age ranges, like are right as of now, this is always every week, this shifts to different age ranges. So we never really pay attention much to that. But like age ranges for now, our highest age range is from the 45 to 60 category. Our second highest is people age 28 through 34. And third place is kind of like what is that? That is kind of, hold on, the numbers look a little funky. I'm sorry, 34 to 44 is third place. So we're kind of all over the gambit with this, but it's kind of nice knowing that we have all these people with all these different interests kind of tuning in and listening to us kind of thing. It's very cool. So to all of you, we love you, we appreciate you, and we
Thank you, thank
thank
you,
you
thank you
so
for listening.
much for making us what we are. And so let's jump into it, Roxy. Roxy, question again for you. And you know the answer to it now. Roxy, 200 episodes. Do you remember our first episode together?
I remembered it the first time, but yes, it
Oh,
was
yes, you
the
did.
80s.
What
It
was
was
our
the
first
80s.
it was the 80s. Yes, we covered the 80s. Everything from Rainbow Bright to Knight Rider lunch kits to the music of the time. That was our
Mhm.
first episode together, and we've kind of been at it ever since. And for other fun trivia, which she knows the answers to all of these now, uh, what was our first movie together?
Cocaine Bear.
It was Cocaine Bear. Yes, an absolutely insane movie about a bear on cocaine.
Yeah, it's high on cocaine.
Yeah, just
And then just destroys everything in its path until he gets more.
yes, kills everyone, everything, because he's on cocaine type of
Hmm.
situation. It was a ridiculous, ridiculous movie. That and the only reason we saw Cocaine Bear is because we had been invited out to go check out an exhibit called Dinos Alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there. We did all the good stuff. We colored dinosaurs and watched them live in this virtual digital
That
Jurassic World. And I was
that
telling
was so fun.
it was great. I was telling Roxy that yesterday I was digging through my camera bag and I found the colorings that we did for Dinos Alive. I was like, oh my God, have they been in the bag the entire time? So yeah, it was great. We loved it. We enjoyed it. But we had some time to kill. So after Dinos Alive, we went to go grab wings, and we're there grabbing wings, and then I don't know what made us do it, but like we were looking at the movie times and Cocaine Bear was on. I was like, we need to review Cocaine Bear. And but the closest showing was at 10 o'clock. So we enhanced our Cocaine Bear watching by going over to O'Connor's and having a few drinks
Hmm.
after wings to watch Cocaine Bear. So which was just a zany,
Yeah.
insane movie. But it was the first movie me and Roxy had uh reviewed together was Cocaine Bear. And another fun thing about that night was, well, no, not so much a fun thing. Let me ask this, Roxy. Let me ask this. So that was our first movie. Do you remember our first event that we actually went to? And mind you, the first event that me and Roxy went to was also the first time me and Roxy ever met in real life. We had never met physically in real life until this event. And she made me wait for her for 2.5 hours
Hmm.
before she showed up.
Did.
What was that? What was that event, Roxy?
That was Comic Palooza.
Yes, in 2022, me and Roxy went out to Comic Palooza and we covered that, and it was a great time. But yes, I was waiting for 2.5 hours for her, and
It's with my
she,
makeup. I had to mix my colors to get the perfect gray
yes,
and then
because
apply it.
exactly. Now, if you want to know what she had to have the perfect gray and apply it, it was because who did you go as, Roxy?
I dressed as Raven.
She went as Raven, and she had a stunning costume. She really did have a great costume. People were all like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with you?" And like, hey
Hey,
Raven," like because there are
Raven.
others as Raven too. So it
Hmm.
was a very cool, awesome time to be at Comic Palooza, and it was our first Comic Palooza, so we were not prepared for the walking we were going to do.
My feet were
Oh,
hurting so bad that day.
yes. Oh my God, that was just a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. So we did that. It was a fun time though. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
And I think some of the more interesting things is like, we've done Comic Palooza ever since. And it's just every time we go back, it's a wonderful time. So let me ask you this, Roxy. Do you have a favorite episode from all these 200 shows that we've done?
Um, I don't know. We've had so many good ones. We've had so many good discussions
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to pick just one.
Mm.
I
What's one that you liked a lot?
though the Helen Roper one, that one was a fun one.
Oh my God, the Helen Roper was great. For those of you who don't know, so that episode was called What in the Helen Roper? And it was an episode that was interviewing these women who were out there and they have these different societies and chapters globally, not just in the US, globally, where
Yeah.
people dress up as Helen Roper and they go out and they do pub crawls and they do charity events and they do all this stuff in the name of Helen Roper. And
Hmm.
I thought it was the weirdest thing because it's like Helen Roper is like a second-rate character on a sitcom, right? And a much older sitcom.
Hmm.
And apparently she has just found this massive trend type of thing and has become a global phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a trip to kind of like check this out, like, Helen Roper, like why Helen Roper? But people absolutely loved it. But yeah, that is one of my favorites as well. I think one of my favorite episodes, because people will still come up to me and ask me about it, is years ago before you came on the show. And before this, I'll come back to that point before Roxy came onto the show. Um I did this episode called Breakups, and it was basically like how you deal with break or how I deal with breakups and all this other stuff. And one of the my formulas to dealing with breakups was, having a cigar,
Mm-hmm.
after the breakup, and I would play George Strait, When Did You Stop Loving Me? And I'd have my cigar and I'd give myself until that cigar burnt down to like be over it. And then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I was fine. Uh, but people would still come up to me and ask me, so do you still do the cigar to get over a breakup? Like, wow. You,
That's
you got to
funny.
go way back to know that that was one of the things that I did. But let's kind of get back with that. So we're at 200 episodes. Me and Roxy have been doing this for a long time. Roxy, as you
Mm-hmm.
know, for those of you who hardcore fans of the show, Roxy was not my first co-host. Carla was the first co-host, and then he left the show to go pursue Dungeons and Dragons because
Mm-hmm.
role playing games had become very lucrative at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he left to go do that, and honestly, I think he still does it. I don't know uh, for sure, but I think he still does. But yeah, I had left the show to go do Dungeons and Dragons, and that's when me and Roxy kind of stepped in and took over the show. But it was funny because like, and here's the thing from episode 100, Carlo wasn't part of episode 100. Roxy was part of episode 100 at that time. And so we've been doing it ever since. But me and Carlo did celebrate one milestone together, and that was the first birthday of the VCR show. And I'll never forget that show because it was such a weird celebration. It was raining that night. We're gonna go grab something to eat, right? A dinner to celebrate. It's 1 years old. The show is 1 years old. And so we met at this restaurant, and I was running a little late, and I get there, and I'm a little wet, and I get into the restaurant, and me and Carlo hug each other, and as we hug each other, I'm like, "Happy anniversary," and he's like, "Happy anniversary." The wait staff is looking at us like, "What?" But it didn't dawn on me
Like,
until like after
oh,
we
how
got,
cute.
I know, right? Like it didn't dawn on me until after we were seeing like, oh, I get it now. So, and the truth is, me and Carlo, unlike me and Roxy, we didn't get to do a whole lot together. Like we may have had one outing. The only outing we ever did together was restaurants. And that's where
Mhm.
we went to things like Hooters and Twin Peaks, and we interviewed some of the people there. And that was pretty much the only outing we ever did together. But me and Roxy have done tons of outings together, which makes the show more exciting. So, with that being said, Roxy, what are some of your more memorable like outings that we do on the show?
Well, you already talked about Dinah's Alive. That one was really fun. I really enjoyed that one. But the
Hmm.
candlelight concert, that was
Oh yeah.
so fun. I still love that one.
You should have seen this woman like at the I had totally forgot about that, but you should have seen this woman at the Candlelight concert where she was just like rocking in that chair.
I
She
was
was loving
loving
it.
it.
Oh my God.
Dancing around.
He was
I was like,
just
man,
like
they performed. They did so well. And it was such a beautiful setup. Like
it
it was just great.
was. It was at this very older, and I mean older theater that's a venue now. But the theater I want to say was built in the 30s. and they rented out for events. And the only light that was in there was candlelight. So they had thousands of candles. They're not real candles, but thousands of candles everywhere to light up the stage and the
Hmm.
audience. And we're just there and we're just really enjoying it. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
And
And
I think that evening it was Motown.
it was Motown.
I was jamming.
And oh my God, this woman was rocking it out.
I was really enjoying it.
And when Lovely Day came on, oh my God.
Lost it.
She lost her shit. She was kind of going crazy. Incidentally, so the concert was amazing and wonderful. So if any of y'all ever kind of want to know the formulas as to what me and Roxy do when we go out to these things, it always starts off with dinner. So we go grab something to eat first, and then we go to the event. And
Hmm.
so that night was particularly memorable because we went to like the worst restaurants.
Yes, it
We
was
had,
the
oh my
worst.
God, it was just so bad.
I
And
was like, never again. This
no,
place sucks.
and I was floored that they still are operating. But in Houston, it's this little restaurant called Moonshine
Was
or
it?
Moonshiners. Yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
So we went there and it was just terrible, absolutely
It
terrible
was
food.
awful.
And I was like, okay, we're never doing this again. And then we went over to the concert, and it was just the concert was wonderful. The food was not.
No.
Uh, but we had a wonderful time there. It was really
Yes,
great.
the show was great.
I think one of the more wonderful memories for me on the show is like, and it's always my favorite thing to do, is like when we go to Comic Palooza
Hmm.
and we talk to all the people there and like
Yes.
how excited they are to talk to us. That's always wonderful. Like we always talk to like really wonderful people. We like to focus on upcoming people, like
Hmm.
upcoming comics, the ones that aren't really fully out there yet.
Yeah, that is one
Uh,
of my favorite things at Comic Palooza is interviewing all the upcoming authors or all the authors.
hmm Oh
And
God, yeah, and they're always so nice. So, well, there's been a few who weren't so gracious to us,
yeah, they're just like,
like that
nah.
one guy who was a award-winning fiction writer is like, "Here's my card, we'll talk." And I was like, "No, we won't." So, you're here now. If you don't want to talk to us now, we ain't gonna talk to you later. So,
Right.
but we talked to some wonderful people. Matter of fact, they're always so sweet to us. They are always
Hmm.
so great to us. And like a lot of them will give us comics and autograph them for us. And I think one of the ones I know Roxy has gotten a few really choice comics. One of the
Hmm.
ones that I keep here at my desk is this one. Gator Man,
Hmm.
which is by Unearthly Comics. Really great, awesome comic. They
Yeah.
autographed it for us. I know Roxy got one of, wasn't it called Stiletto or something
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they autographed Stiletto for her, and she insisted on paying to support them. So,
And they
uh,
kept saying no.
yes, but it
Yeah.
was
Well, that's what
wonderful.
it was. Yeah. I insisted on paying, so I bought that one, and then they gave us that one.
Yes, they gave us Gator Man. But Unearthly Comics, we love talking to them because they were so wonderful.
They
And
were.
I think it's great when people come up to us and they want to talk to us and they want to do these interviews. Or you can see them and they see that we're doing interviews and they're kind of hoping we'll come talk to them. And we'll
Yeah.
pick up on it and we'll go do it. Or we'll make our rounds and we'll say we'll be back and we'll talk to you guys. But they're always so wonderful. I love doing
Yeah.
Comic Palooza because of that. It's always a wonderful feeling and always a great moment. And then Roxy always brings down the house with one of her costumes. She really does. Like the other fun thing when we're doing outings is like her fans that come up to her and kind of accost her in the middle of whatever we're doing. So last year, well, not the year before, Roxy went as sexy Darth Vader to Comic Palooza. And I will admit, costume looked great on her. She looked very, curvaceous as always, type of thing. And then her fans noticed that too, because they were just like running up to us like randomly, like well, running up to her, and I'm just this guy in the background that they're staring at. Like, who the fuck are you, man? And I was like,
Who's this loser?
like, I'm just a fucking co-host. That's all I am. So so they'll run up to her and they'll fucking get her autograph and want pictures with her. And then like no joke. So we run into R2D2 and R2D2 comes up to her because she's sexy Darth Vader, right? And R2D2's like, wow. And gives her a whistle and everything. I was like, oh
That
my
was so
God.
cute.
So even R2D2 literally turned his head for Roxy. So it's always fun when we do these events together. Absolutely love it. Uh, and we have so many more events planned in the future. Like we've been thinking about putting together a Texas wine show where we go up to the
Mhm.
hill country and visit some of the wineries up there. And we were also talking about doing a water parks show. But one of the
Uh,
ones I'm more excited about is like doing a Texas barbecue tour.
yeah.
But oh my God, that's one of those things where we really got planned it out because that's a weekend where we got to go from Houston to Brazos
A
to
lot of driving.
yeah
It
to up
doesn't
to
sound
San
fun.
Antonio, maybe Austin. So we're gonna do this line and then we got to come back and it's like, that's a lot of work there because like San Antonio, is 3 hours away, so we got
Mhm.
stops between Houston to San Antonio and maybe Austin, which is 30 minutes away from San Antonio. So it's like, we got things we got to plan out, but a lot of things that we want to do for the show because I think that's one of the beautiful things about it is that we love the show so much, or at least I love the show so much. Roxy gets annoyed with the show on occasion,
Get
and
annoyed
me,
with you.
more with me. Like those moments where I have to call her and say, "Yeah, we need to re-record this." Oh my God. So, okay. I asked you this first round. Let me ask you this second round. What is one of the more surprising things that you have learned about me in the show?
And my answer is the same. How much
Mhm.
you annoy me.
I was surprisingly annoying for Roxy.
Yes, how
Uh,
surprisingly annoying you are. Like that is no.
right? Her number one. Uh, anything else other than being surprisingly annoying to you?
No, that's it. That's where I
That's it.
stand.
That's pretty much it.
No.
I was pretty much, surprised at how ridiculously abusive Roxy is to me. And
That's funny.
oh, but I do think like one of the best things that other than being ridiculously late to everything, uh one of the best
Guilty.
thing, yeah, just oh my God. One of the best things that I've noticed is like when doing the show, me and Roxy have this really wonderful chemistry where we can pick up when issues are happening and we can
Yeah.
jump in there to make it a really seamless show. So our chemistry on the show has been absolutely great and wonderful. I was kind of surprised about that because in the beginning, like honestly, after waiting 2.5 hours for her in a parking lot, I was like, never again. I will not fucking do this ever again with her. And like 200 episodes later, we're
And he's still never evering.
we're still I'm still like never a fucking again. Will I do ah, but our chemistry is great. And I think for anyone out there who's interested in starting a podcast, like I know a lot of people do it solo, but like if you really want a great show, find someone who you have great chemistry with. And I think that's
Mhm.
something me and Roxy really have in doing these shows is our chemistry just kind of makes everything flow and we're so damn goofy that it makes it a
Yeah.
little bit more enjoyable. So that's one of the things that I was surprised about because again, Roxy was not the original co-host on this show, but she's been through it through the majority of it. Like I said, she was on it before we even hit uh
Mhm.
the 100th episode. And you know, we've done this show together. And one of the things that we do, like, because a lot of people think me and Roxy are in a relationship.
No,
Again, we're not, as
never.
you can fucking hear
You
right
can
there.
only wish and
She,
dream.
she dreams
It,
about it, but like, no.
no,
Uh,
I have no dream of that.
but I think
None.
part of our issue is that because we have such great chemistry on the show, people naturally assume that we're married or in a
Yeah.
relationship and things like that. So when they,
Or that there was one in the past. No,
yeah,
there never has, and it won't be
never has.
either.
And it's true, like in the sense that like a lot of people will bring up the fact that, oh, but y'all do like dinners and outings and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But we're doing it for the show. Like the movies
Yeah.
we go to are just because we're doing it for the show. It's not like we're doing it because like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. Why don't we hang out? It's not like that. We do it for the show. All the Comic
Yeah.
Palooza, Anime Fest, things
I mean,
like
we do
that.
get along and we like hanging out, but
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's just mostly for the show.
Yeah, it's mostly for the show. Now, and like even our dinner outings are for the show. Like
Hmm.
every time we conclude a season, we go celebrate with dinner. We'll go somewhere and like I'm gonna tell you this, Saltgrass has made a fortune off of us going there all the time celebrating
Hmm.
for our seasons. But we celebrate the show's milestone together. We'll go to a nice dinner and celebrate that.
Hmm.
Uh but that's what we do. And I know a lot of people are out there like, oh my God, you two have to be together. No, no, we
No.
really don't. No, we truly, truly and honestly don't. And probably shouldn't because we would kill each other.
I would
In
probably murder
real
you,
life,
but
we would definitely kill each other. But we do really great. We do really great show wise. So
hmm.
but I think that's one of the more interesting things that have come about this is that how many people think we're in relationships
I think
because
that's
of
one
it.
of the funniest things that
Uh,
comes about from
it was
this.
like even at like when we're at Comic Palooza, people will think like there was this time we were there and like there's this shop that was selling these really
Oh
unique
yeah.
like booty shorts, I guess is what you call. Is that what you call them or like
Oh yeah, the
panties?
little booty shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're there and Roxy's looking at these things and
Because I saw some cute ones that I wanted.
and I'm like, your husband would really love it. And they're staring
And I
at me. I
looked
was
at him, I
like,
was like, ew, no.
no. Yeah, she's the first like, ew, gross. That's not my husband. And then they're staring at me even harder, like, you're not her husband. I was like, I'm
No,
not
no.
her husband. Oh my God. When we're
I think
buying
really what took them by some off guard is when I was like, ew, no.
oh my God, when we were
You're like
at
in front of him. That's so rude.
exactly. I was like, oh my God.
He's
But
right there.
she did the same thing when we are buying comics from that comic creator who did the one for the pet rescues.
Oh, yes, yes.
And she was like, and Yuta was like, no, don't even say you
No.
two. And she was like, automatically ill, gross. I was like,
Ew, no.
whatever. So,
But I mean that in the nicest way possible.
I'm
Like,
sure you do.
ew,
I'm
no.
sure. So, that's a thing. We have that kind of a fun chemistry together. But I
Yeah.
think one of the other things that I love about doing the show with Roxy is like when me and Carlo were doing the show, well, again, as I mentioned, we only did one event together.
Hmm.
And me and Roxy will go to all kinds of events together, whether it's comics or movies or other little random weird things. We're trying to go to some oddity shops type of things. But one of the best things, and some of them fell off here, is this,
Oh, yes. I love all my lanyards that
all
I've
the fun
collected.
little, passes that we get to get. This is Dinos Alive. This is the
Hmm.
latest one from the Comic
Comic
Palooza,
Palooza.
Anime Fest. This one I'm particularly fond of, um, because this one is the first Comic Palooza that we did.
Hmm.
So I'm particularly fond of that. But like, the Texas Anime Fest, all that other stuff, when we go to these things, I love collecting these things. They love us, we love them, and we're always grateful when we get to go to these because a lot of people think, oh, you're press, so you just show up. That's not the way it works. You have to be
No.
approved to show up to any of these.
Yeah, you have to be approved and sometimes invited. Like,
Yes, and then you gotta email them like all kinds of crap too. Like some of them want you to write all this stuff and send you all
Yeah.
the credentials from your show. And there's really no such thing as credentials. So really what you're doing is you're sending out links to your show or things like that.
Hmm.
And just to show that you're valid and legit. And so it's work to get to these things, but oh my God, it's worth it when we're
The
out
hoops that
there.
you have to jump through sometimes.
Yes. Well, now I will share one of my fondest memories, and a lot of my memories revolve around Comic Palooza, right?
Hmm.
But and here's one of my fondest ones, and I don't know if Roxy's going to exactly remember, but she hopefully will. So our last Comic Palooza, where she was ready to call defeat, and I was like, no, we're gonna make this happen. And I just walked in line and walked in like I owned the place.
Did,
I was like,
and it
no,
worked.
it did. Like no one questioned me when I
Got the
showed up.
picture.
Mm-mm. But someone here on the show is a massive fan of Mr. Freddy Krueger's, and uh she wanted that picture, and we
Hmm.
got that picture with Robert England. People were oh no, it's already done, you can't do it, and blah, blah. I was like, bull fucking shit. I was
He
like,
said, "Watch me."
watch me do this.
He's like, "Just follow me." And I'm like, "Where are you going? What are you doing?"
I like asked the guy
Walks
what
in.
exactly. I asked the guy
I'm
what
like,
lane
"Okay,
is Robert England, and he's like lane 6. Follow me, and we walked the fuck in like we owned it. They opened up the curtains for us and everything,
they let us
and we
in."
got in there, got the picture. Robert England gave Roxy the best pickup line ever, which was,
Who's
"Who's
your
your
daddy?
daddy?"
I was like, "Shit, you, you, my daddy."
And then we went and we got the pictures, and we gave
I
them
told my
heart.
friend, I was like, I should have been like, I don't
I
know.
really don't know.
I don't know who my dad is.
And then we went over there, and the picture people were like totally like, what the hell's happening? Because they weren't prepared for us because
Yeah.
our picture wasn't supposed to be there. There was this other process. I was like, no, no, we did a picture and we blah blah blah. So yeah, we got the picture with Robert. Uh, but yeah, that's one of my more memorable moments is Roxy
Yeah.
wanted a picture with Robert England, and we fucking
Like that
got
was
that.
all I wanted from that Comic Palooza was
Yeah,
I wanted to meet him. I wanted to get a picture. That's all I wanted.
and I remember I
And
sent
I
like
was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. We're not gonna
when
see
they I'll never forget when they announced Robert England was going to be there. I sent Roxy a link saying, "Guess who will be at Comic Palooza," and she was all excited
it.
because
Lost my damn mind.
just like Freddy Krueger was going to be at Comic Palooza, and she was all kinds of excited. So that was one of my more memorable events from doing these things. But we'll have many more memorable events with another 200 episodes if we don't kill each other by then. But
Yeah, I don't kill you. No.
yes. Okay, whatever. So, uh, until then, you can always follow us and support us on our social medias, which is going to be at the VCR Show on Insta and Twitter, and our website, which I never update, with the VCRshow.com, and YouTube, the VCR Show. And you can check us out on all kinds of platforms. Matter of fact, I recently found us on Podbean. I didn't
Ooh,
even know that was a thing. So I found us on Podbean. And so you can check out our episodes there as well. And if you want to follow the lovely and talented model, Miss Roxy,
watch yourself. Watch yourself.
ah, you can do so at her social medias, which are.
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRox428, and on TikTok at ThePoproxx. And Poprox is spelled Poproxx.
And as always, I'm Vada.
And I'm Roxy.
And happy 200th, Roxy.
Happy.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vada and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vada with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental. and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.